Hello, and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. Today we were reviewing Imagine Dragons' 2018 album Origins. It's good, but it's a bit boring overall. It's not a huge step forward in my opinion, but it's not really a big step back either. So it's kind of a decent album. This is the track listing, and these are the tracks I added to my playlist, all but one here. I generally like Imagine Dragons songs, so most of these end up on my playlist, even though they aren't definitely not as good as some of their other songs. Um, Definitely not really as good as their previous album, Evolve. There's a few interesting ones here, but overall the songs are just slightly subpar in my opinion. There were four singles off this album: Natural, Zero, Machine, and Bad Liar. Natural and Bad Liar were definitely on the radio, and I think Zero was too at the time. My favorite song here is probably Boomerang, although Natural would maybe take it if it wasn't so overplayed on the radio and only offers some major competition as well, but I think I gotta give it to Boomerang. I think that's the most interesting song here. Um, Overall, there are definitely some good songs here, but there are also some kind of meh songs. I think this is a good album. I like Imagine Dragons in general, so this is kind of sort of similar stuff that always been doing, so it's not really that bad for me. And the not so good songs are still pretty decent. Something like Cool Out or Bullet in a Gun is still generally okay. But this album does rank towards the bottom in my rankings of Imagine Dragons, just above Smoke and Mirrors and below Mercury's Act 1 and 2. The main complaint with the album is it's just a bunch of sort of songs that didn't make the cut for Evolve, so it's still pretty good, but it's definitely not as good as sort of their full albums. I think with the exception of Smoke and Mirrors, which in my opinion Smoke and Mirrors gets a little samey towards the middle there. But this album does not take my favorite slot from 2018. That goes to George Ezra's Staying at Tamara's, which is clearly a step above Origins. It's not a super big step. I think Origins is definitely sort of near Staying at Tamara's, but it's pretty obvious that one of them is better. Staying at Tamara's is just a more solid album overall. And then Origins is definitely decent, but definitely one of the worst Imagine Dragons albums. I don't think anyone would really dispute me on that. Next up is Pink Floyd's 1968 album, A Saucerful of Secrets. It's got a pretty cool cover, and I'm interested to see if this is better or worse than their first album. So stay tuned for that and stay minty.